Whoa, hello sunshine. You may have noticed by now that I've made a series of videos in a row all about financial independence and retiring early. In short, the FIRE community. And in those videos, you might have noticed that sometimes in the title or in the video itself, I'll say financial freedom instead of financial independence. Well, this got me thinking this week. Am I using these two phrases interchangeably correctly or not? And if I'm not using them correctly interchangeably, what's the difference? I went researching this week and it turns out there's a pretty interesting difference that I'm excited to share today. And I'm especially excited to talk about financial freedom and sort of what I learned about it because financial independence is more mathematical, as I've talked about on the channel. Financial freedom, however, is, well, I can't tell you already, you gotta stick around. I think it'll stretch your thinking just a bit. I know it certainly did for me in a good way, and I also found it to be a bit motivating once I got my head fully around it. With that said, my name is Frankie. Welcome back to The Money Resolution. This is where I put out personal finance videos weekly, and if you dig this video and you haven't subscribed already, I hope you'll consider doing so. Like this video if at any point you think to yourself, I like this video, and drop a comment down below. I really do enjoy seeing reactions and replies and comments to the video. So, financial independence and financial freedom. As I alluded to earlier, I found out there is a pretty interesting difference I'm excited to dig into. And stick around until the end because I'm gonna share my thoughts about why this difference matters so much and why this difference actually might change everything. So with that said, let's dive in and let's talk about the one that I think is a little bit more tangible to get your head around. That's financial independence, because this one's a little more mathematical. The definition I subscribe to is that you have enough recurring revenue, that's from your assets and your investments, that create a cash flow to cover life's expenses. You're independent of needing to earn income from a traditional 9 to 5. This is when work becomes optional. This is when you no longer have to trade your time for money. You no longer need to work for a living to cover your bills, expenses, needs, and wants. And in this case, you can expect to reasonably never run out of money as long as your lifestyle doesn't drift over time. I've broken down on the channel exactly how to calculate your retirement number, your financial independence number, and that's multiplying your annual expenses by 25. And I also did a video explaining the number one way to get there. Spoiler alert, it's to save and invest half of your money. Save and invest half, retire twice as fast. I've decided that's my tagline, so it's worth repeating. Save and invest half, retire twice as fast. It's not how much you make, it's how much you save that matters most. But don't just save that money, again, invest. And even if you only establish a savings rate of 20, 25, 30%, you could still retire 5, 10, 15 years earlier than the average person. It really does come down to basic math. So in 9 words, you can summarize this by saying, work a lot, spend a little, invest the difference. Traditional advice says to save 20%, but I am here to say that is not enough. And if you watch my last 7 or 8 videos and my advice is starting to sound a little repetitive, that's good. That's exactly what I want. A consistent message that you'll remember that works. Maybe I should come up with a jingle for some of these. Totally kidding. Or am I? Stick around until the end. So once again, financial independence is when you've saved 25 times your annual expenses. This is when work becomes optional. You could technically retire, but honestly, a lot of people in the FIRE movement don't fully retire. You could pursue a passion, travel, volunteer, start a business, make a difference in your community, learn a new skill, learn a new language. Financial independence is choice. And like I basically just said, most people in the FIRE community don't end up retiring fully. In fact, I would say it's quite the opposite, and that's a misconception. But striving towards that 25x number is something that motivates me so that I feel fully free to pursue whatever I want. It's maybe so I could make 3 videos a week and travel 4 times a year. #goals. I'm seeking choice so I can live life to the fullest. And even though I don't know what a fulfilled life is gonna look like in the future, I'm excited to strive for it and see what that feels like. This is where I encourage you to seek financial independence because you don't know what you don't know, not least of which is what you would actually do with your time if you had a lot more of it. So I've covered financial independence relatively quickly, at least by my standards on the channel, and that's because it's more mathematical and I've talked about it a lot on the channel. If you want more information about FIRE and financial independence, I definitely recommend my FIRE playlist after this one. But here's where the video takes an interesting twist. So once again, going into this exercise, I thought financial independence and financial freedom were the same thing. And I came across a couple of different subjective definitions, but I chose to speak about one today that spoke to me directly, and it really got my gears turning or whirling or moving, whatever. Financial freedom. First, I have to say there is no singular definition like I just alluded to. In fact, it was kind of all over the board. There's certainly not a mathematical equation, although I'll try to provide one or two just to give you some context if you're goal setting. And the reason I chose to speak about this one, as I think I've already said, is because this definition really motivated me, and I think it's going to be really encouraging, hopefully, for you, especially if you're just getting started on this journey or considering the path towards financial independence. As we define it, there are two simple things you need to ask yourself that pertain to money. Number one, what stresses you out most about money? Number two, what would it look like to be no longer stressed, totally at peace about your finances? So, what stresses you out about money and what would peace look like? And here's sort of the big catch is that for most of us, the answers to those questions are going to arrive much sooner than financial independence, 25x your expenses. Because for most of us, financial independence might be 1 million, 2 million or more. Instead, I would offer, in terms of a quick mathematical equation, financial freedom might arrive when you reach 5x your expenses. I'm ballparking here, but I think it's a good goal to set at the very least. But here's the big twist. Financial freedom is actually a state of mind, a state of being, if you will. It's when money isn't the primary reason you do or don't do something. It's when you're no longer dictated or fixated on price. Your actions instead are driven by purpose and value. Money is a byproduct of your purpose. Your purpose lies within your heart and it excites you. And it's not something you can achieve as just a goal. It's in your core. It's when your values and passions align with your abilities. It's when you're able to do what you would do if you were paid to do it or not. It's not a SMART goal. Again, this is something that might take up to a lifetime to fulfill or to achieve. And to illustrate this a little bit more, I'm going to very quickly talk about 3 measures of wealth. The first is price. This is just what you pay. This is a really simple mindset, and this can honestly be a dangerous way to live. Instead, thinking about wealth, the next level is when you think about it in terms of cost. What's your economic impact? Price might actually be higher than cost. Opportunity cost is an example where price is actually a lot higher than cost. It's a higher price, but a lower cost because in the end, you end up with more value. This is when you start to take on an investor mindset. There's more money in your pocket at the end of the day, more value to your dollar. Speaking of value, that's the third sort of pillar of wealth here, and this is the personal feeling of satisfaction. It's your personal perspective, and some people may never get to the point where they internalize value. So you are financially free when you're able to get to that point where you think value first, cost second, price third, as it pertains to your wealth. So it's a state of mind where money no longer dictates your action. Price is no longer why you do or don't do something. So this is all about making decisions based on happiness, not just money. This could be providing a college education for your grandchildren, owning a vacation house on the beach, leaving something to your kids, buying the car of your dreams, splurging on those front row tickets, or starting your own business, writing books, starting your own YouTube channel, for example. Everyone has a different vision of what true happiness is. And everyone's needs are different, but once you've realized financial freedom, you can make the absolute most out of life because your savings and passive income can fund it, even if you're still years away from the mathematical version of financial independence. And financial freedom is the point where you start to uncover what wealth truly is. It's spending money or time on things that bring you personal satisfaction back. It's up to you to define what value means and how it directly aligns with your purpose. This is all about finding peace with your money and avoiding stress. This is about finding security. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're ready to retire, but what it might look like tangibly is you're not devastated or totally set back, for example, if your car breaks down next week. Or you're willing to pay for an extra night of babysitting so that you can go out and get out of the house and enjoy an evening. Financial freedom is a state of mind, a feeling of peace, a lack of financial stress. But can I give you more tangible advice about how to actually get to this state of mind? Of course. Although financial freedom is subjective, and again, it can be defined differently and your purpose and values are gonna all be a little bit different, there are a few tangible things I can recommend you strive towards. For example, having a $15,000 emergency fund tucked away for a rainy day, or having money set aside so that you can consistently give towards a cause throughout the year. If you want a mathematical number to strive towards, I'd call financial freedom 5 times your annual expenses as a good ballpark. So if your expenses are $40,000 a year, times 5, that's $200,000. You should strive for saving and investing $200,000, but here's the thing, you're probably going to find financial freedom along that journey. So to wrap it up, my definition of financial freedom I'm subscribing to is that it's a prerequisite, first of all, to reaching financial independence. It happens first. One way I also think about it is that I could take a different, lower paying job if my current job was making me unhappy. I have total freedom to do what I want. I'm stress-free. I have a plan and I have a purpose. I get value out of my wealth and I'm totally at peace with my money because I know how hard I've worked to get here. And yes, striving for financial freedom is still going to take hard work. Okay, why does this all matter? What's the message I ultimately want to impart onto you? You can live a rich life even if you're not rich yet. It's a state of mind, and striving towards financial freedom is going to get you on the path to uncovering it. It's psychological freedom and financial confidence. Once you get to a point where you're no longer exchanging your time for money and you truly understand your value and purpose, everything changes. Living rich can come in many forms, believe me, but broke doesn't really. Broke is broke. Financial freedom is amazing, especially when you look back at different times in your life. For me, for example, I remember going to the grocery store and praying and hoping my debit card was going to work and that purchase was going to go through. Just not feeling that for the first time might be your first indicator of financial freedom. Being able to work from anywhere in the world, that's freedom. Being able to take multiple vacations a year because you've worked hard to save towards them, that could be freedom. Going to a spa to get a massage, saying yes instead of no because you can't afford it. Both of those could be freedom. But of course, it takes time and hard work to get there, not least of which is education. This is absolutely the best way to start on that path towards financial freedom and eventually financial independence. And look at you for watching content like this. By the way, subscribe to the Money Resolution if you're getting value out of this video and you want to see more. I also used to think more is more and that I was living without. But when I've learned to live with less, my priorities have honestly really shifted. I no longer find it's a really good use of my time to find the absolute lowest price on everything. In fact, I might be willing to pay a little bit more for something that's gonna last me longer and hold more value. I also value my time enough now to know that it's okay to outsource some of my work. So imagine the different things you could take off your plate. If you were able to pay someone else and you got a lot of value out of that, what could that look and feel like? That might be all the motivation you need to get on this path towards FI. Remember, it's value that matters most, then cost, then price. You may even discover a hobby, a passion, a business that's gonna reach and help people along the way. I know I did. This is all about choice. I'm sure that's obvious by now. Life is too short to dread that alarm every single time you go to bed because you hate your 9 to 5. But man, the sun is not working with me. I got it. That's probably very distracting. Financial freedom and financial independence doesn't solve all your problems, but it just might solve a lot of or most of your money problems. Plus, again, it provides psychological freedom and financial confidence. And that might just help you sleep at night. And I really like sleep. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all this, and I didn't mean to get so philosophical, don't worry, fear not. No matter where you are in your journey, remember this. Your next step is your most important one. Regardless of your age or situation, I encourage you to either get started or keep going. And speaking of motivation, I'll put on screen now a video I did recently about staying motivated on your path towards FI. It's more concrete and actionable than this video, but I really appreciate you listening into some of my musings. Truthfully, guys, I thought this was gonna be a really short video, mostly mathematical as I started my research, but obviously this made an impression on me, and I hope it's making an impression on you. It got me thinking about my journey and where I'm at just roughly 3 years into it, and where I might be or wanna be 5 years from now. It also got me thinking a lot about you and your journey. And again, of course, your journey is gonna look a lot different than mine, but I think by having these conversations and internalizing some of these ideas, it's gonna get you on that path and help you stay motivated. Personal finance is personal. Financial independence, as I've said, is more mathematical. Financial freedom is a state of mind. Both of them are motivating though, and both of them can help you discover your purpose and what you truly value. It could redefine what a 9 to 5 looks like for you. Again, you could sleep in, start a business, go on more vacations a year, tackle your bucket list, pursue a passion, spend more time with your kids. The idea is freedom of choice, and it all starts with increasing your savings rate and investing that money. Okay, wow. I feel like hopefully there were a lot of good nuggets in here that you're sort of still kicking around, and I rarely say this and this feels really weird to say, but I highly recommend you actually re-watch this one. Whoa, hello sunshine. Because in my research and even just putting notes together for this video and trying to organize it all, I kept getting value out of it the more I went back to some of these things. Plus I talk kind of fast. Sorry about that. I genuinely tried to slow down this video. I really do enjoy making videos about money mindset, so let me know what you thought of this video and this style of video. Was this motivating and encouraging? Do you have some questions or thoughts? Anything you totally disagree with, all of that is fair game, of course, in the comments below. I do read every message and I try to reply to everyone, especially people that are very positive. If you're just getting started, the big takeaway here is strive towards financial freedom, strive towards understanding value, strive towards finding your purpose. Get on the path towards financial independence, and hopefully reaching financial freedom, this state of mind, is going to unlock a lot of things and keep you really motivated. Best of luck, guys. Thank you as always for tuning in and getting to the end of this video, even though the sunshine was probably really distracting. If you appreciate Frankie's finance reflections, or more often than not, educational videos, be sure to subscribe to the Money Resolution so you can get personal finance videos weekly. I talk all things save money, make money, get out of debt, and invest. I'm on a mission to retire early, and I want to help other people do the same thing. Like this video if you like this video. It really does go a long way and help me out in the channel and other people discover it. Is it raining now? What is going on? Best of luck to you and yours on your financial journey or journeys, and I'll see you awesome people on the next one. Thanks. Jingles. Can I do jingles? 20% is not enough. Save and invest, half, retire twice as fast. Imagine if I made videos full time. Things would get really weird around here. You don't have to be rich to live rich. Thanks, guys.